a nice mosquito or a worm, huh? Just let's take one of those earthworms out there and you can just duplicate it. Can you do that? If you can't, then you have no business claiming to be God. The scientists now, they're claiming to have developed proto-life. This is the latest nonsense. Just came out today, yeah. They've developed some molecule that can somehow reproduce itself. Great. Okay. Well, now we have molecules. Big deal. Okay. That molecule of salt can also do that. That's it. Yeah, that's all. And they put this big fancy name on it, proto-life. Wow. Well, if you believe that, I got a nice bridge in Brooklyn. It's hardly been used. It lasts you another century or two. Really cheap. Just send me a check. So people are getting cheated. They're getting cheated because they don't bother to go to the original Vedic literatures. Instead, they go to some third-hand derivative teaching. But we don't accept this. We say, no, you have to go to the original Vedas. What do the original Vedas say? They say, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. After many, many births, one surrenders to Krishna and worships him with devotional love. Bhaktya, with bhakti. Bhakti means devotion. It means a relationship between one person and another person. Between the jiva soul, like you and me, and the supreme person, like Krishna. So in that sense, there is no conception of impersonal realization. The devotees don't care for anything impersonal, because that would mean the end of the personal relationship. And that's not enjoyable. So if you read the Vedānta-sūtra, Vedānta-sūtra is the conclusion of the Vedas. And the Vedānta-sūtra has 4 parts. And the first adhyaya, the first part, is basically the exposition of the philosophy of the Lord and his potencies. The second part is a refutation of all impersonal and other bogus philosophies, especially Buddhism. The Vedānta-sūtra elaborately refutes Buddhism, all 5 branches of Buddhism. And of course, in doing that, it also refutes this Mayavadi philosophy, because the Mayavadi philosophy is nothing but Buddhism, which has been made to appear as if it's coming from the Vedas. But to do this, Shankara had to make a trick. He had to say that actually Vyasadeva, the compiler of the Vedas, was wrong. The Vedas are okay, and we can twist those and interpret them any way by defining the words any way we like. But Vyasadeva's own understanding of what he wrote was not correct. That's sort of like, sitting on the limb of the tree and sawing it off, It's a self-defeating philosophy, actually. It contains a logical error, a logical inconsistency. If Vyasadeva was wrong, then why do you base your philosophy on the Vedas? You see? Why would you base your philosophy on the works of someone who you say doesn't even understand the meaning of what he wrote? That's crazy. That's nuts. It's a little circular logic error. And because of that, the whole philosophy is invalidated. Because in the 3rd section of Vedānta-sūtra, what does Vyasadeva talk about? Bhakti. Nothing but bhakti. How to do bhakti. And in the 4th part of Vedānta-sūtra, he talks about the results of doing bhakti. See? And then he wrote Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. which we're quoting from so often in our study of Nectar of Devotion. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the commentary on Vedanta. And it starts out with the same sutra, Janmadyasya Yataha. Janmadyasya Yataha means the source of all emanations. So you have God and you have his potencies. The source of energy and the energies. In other words, duality is fundamental, not monism, not oneness, but two-ness, duality, or actually three-ness, because you have the Lord, the energetic source, you have the energies that emanate from him, and you have the relationship between them. This is the part that everybody ignores. They skip this part. Because of this, they get all confused. See? What is the relationship between the Lord and his energies? The Lord is the controller, and the energies are controlled. The Lord is the owner, and the energies are his property. You see? The Lord is the knower, and his energy, and he knows his energies completely. See? So the Lord is present everywhere by his energies. And when we see those energies in relationship to him, then we see properly. If we see the Lord's energies as separate from him, then we're in Maya, we're in illusion. Because actually, they belong to him, nobody else. Where does this world come from? Well, we can't see that with our senses. But we can hear from Vedic authority that it comes from God. So, this world must belong to God. So then he must have some idea why he created it, what the purpose of it is. And all this is given in the Vedas. So if we follow the Vedic knowledge, then we automatically go towards God and we attain self-realization. But if we don't follow, then there's no guarantee what's going to happen. So if we accept this nonsense impersonal philosophy, then we're at tremendous risk. The best thing that can happen is that we get the same reward as the enemies of the Lord. Like Dantavakra and Shishupal and Kamsa, people like that. Dhritarashtra. That's the best thing that can happen. Most likely we're not even going to make it that far because the impersonalists are not very disciplined. Oh, yeah, I'm God. I can do anything I want. Great. Give me another one, bartender. So because of this, they fall down. See? They think, I don't have to follow any rules and regulations. I can do anything, whatever I want. Because of this conceit, because of this envy of the Lord, they envy the Lord's authority, they envy his beauty, they envy his power, they envy his potencies. And they want to collapse the Lord and his potencies and make them all one. See? They want to say that, for example, the matter, the external energy of the Lord, is the same as God. But we see that actually it's not. It doesn't have any of the qualities of God. It's not supreme, it's not eternal, it's not intelligent, it's not even conscious. But we are conscious. But we are the superior energy, the internal energy of the Lord. But because we're in illusion, we're identified with matter. We went over this yesterday in detail. How the soul becomes identified with matter. Because of this Maya, because of this illusion, we're suffering. So, when we come back to the Lord in devotional service, then this suffering ends. So really the question is, do you want to suffer? If so, then you keep believing in this impersonal philosophy. But if you really want happiness, if you really want pleasure, if you really want love and intelligence and wisdom and so many things, then you should take up this path of devotional service. So to continue. In the Brahmanda Purana it is stated, those who have achieved liberation from material contamination, and those who are demons and are killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, become absorbed in the Brahman concept of life and reside in the spiritual sky of the Brahmajyoti. That spiritual sky is far beyond the material sky, and it is confirmed also in Bhagavad-gītā that beyond this material sky there is another, eternal sky. The enemies and the impersonalists may be allowed to enter into this Brahman effulgence, but the devotees of Krishna are promoted all the way to the spiritual planets. Because the pure devotees have developed their spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are allowed to enter into the spiritual planets to enjoy spiritual bliss in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead.